On that note, welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
Hey,
welcome back.
Well, thank you. You've been gone longer than I have.
Oh, that's true.
from
You
the
guys.
We two-timed on you, Will.
One time, I'm like, hey, it's my kid's first day of school. I can't come in on the afternoon. You're like, well, screw you. I'm going to replace you 2 weeks in a row.
We had special guests.
You had good guests.
did.
It was good episodes.
We had
Kate-
lovely Bill
Kate and
Duran.
Bill, both were wonderful. Really good.
But really, it is a welcome back for you, Adam, because you're kind of back to a schedule that you were in like 3 months ago.
I am. So we wrapped Mythbusters Jr. on Friday.
Oh, welcome to unemployment.
Thank you. No. I'm still gainfully employed.
Oh, okay.
I'm already in pre-production on the next show.
Oh,
We're recording this at about 5:00 today. It's not airing today. It's going out tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I just got back from Los Angeles, where I was having a bunch of meetings and doing a bunch of work for the next show. What is the next show?
What is the next show?
I'm not prepared to talk about that just yet.
oh man.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
think
there's another
it's-
show for the Discovery family of networks.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about it. And we're putting together the team right now.
Hold on, are you going to Mars for this one? Is this the Mars show?
It's not the Mars show.
Oh, damn.
Back to back is really interesting because the watching you in the past 3 months, when we podcast, when you pop in to the cave and we see you, like your creative energies were in mode. Right, you're getting into a groove of producing a TV show and
Right.
working with other collaborators
Yeah.
and TV showrunners, and you were invigorated. And
Yeah.
it feels like this is the perfect time to not let that energy wane, to roll into another production.
And these aren't. It's not like this is seasonal. These are just new modes of working. So for the longest time, we did all the tested stuff while I was shooting full time.
Yeah.
Mythbusters Jr. I was on set for 3 days out of 5 every week, and those days changed. The production wrapped. We only went, I think, 3 or 4 days over schedule, which is amazing because we really didn't have enough time to make that show. But John Tessier, the showrunner, made it work. And the wrapping it up was super bittersweet. I'm gonna miss these kids so much. The kids, I gave them all black EDC bags.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Their faces were just beams of smile. It was really awesome. I gave the whole crew EDC bags.
I assume that now that the kids are property of Discovery Channel, they'll pop back up on other shows here and there, right?
That's
Shark Week.
above my pay grade.
Okay.
There are already a couple of times this year that I will see the kids, the other Mythbusters. And then this new show will be probably a month or two, at least, a couple months of pre-production. And then that one will be full-time filming 5 days a week. That'll be
wow.
back to a
Okay.
Mythbusters
It's a real
type
job.
schedule. Yeah. It's all me. It's all building.
Okay.
It's a lot of construction.
Very excited about
Oh,
this.
no. I'm super psyched.
So what
Yeah.
else is going on?
So,
Well,
yeah.
I was about to
What do
say,
you Go for the segue,
Yeah,
Norm.
you're
Segue
returning
in
here,
3,
but
2,
also
1.
Yeah.
Go.
Not only you're returning, but also a lot of the stuff is returning with you.
Well, I mean, I looked around as I came in, and I was wondering why the shop seemed a little crowded, and then I realized that for the set for Junior, I lent a literal truckload of stuff to production, and it all just came back. So we got a couple of spacesuits on stands. We got my fire suit over there, a whole bunch of props and helmets. I'm out of room for helmets, which is really, honestly, kicking my butt because I don't know where I'm going to find more room, but clearly I need it.
Is the Loki helmet new?
No.
I never saw that one before.
It's really been a couple while, Will, since you've been in the cave.
I mean, it's been a couple weeks, maybe a month.
No, Loki's been there for a while.
So yeah, and then we got to sift through all this stuff. I saved some of my favorite objects from the production. We made some really cool, weird things.
Like, I'm really excited about the show. Like as the parent of a kid that is the right age to watch the show, finally.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the show.
So there is a myth. I'm going to give one tiny spoiler for the coming season. There is a myth about how much a pencil can write.
Oh, okay.
That I'm not going to go into more detail than that. It got tested in at least 5 different ways. And the artifacts of those tests are amazing. So, yeah, I
That's
kept
cool.
a couple of those.
Nice teaser.
There's
Yeah.
your spoiler.
Something that's interesting is also when you started the original show, that set, like the blueprint room and everything that was at M5.
Yeah.
You didn't have this cave, obviously.
No, but a lot of that stuff in that room did come from my personal collection.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it came from the storage space over my other storage space here in the Mission.
Okay.
That used to be my first shop.
So I didn't know if for Junior, because very clearly for Junior, a lot of this production design, set design was informed by the stuff you had and stuff you wanted to infuse with, and also, of course, being true to what you did in the other show. How was that different, or like this felt like, I remember when you were setting up, it was a truckload of stuff that
It was a
left here.
truckload. Frankly, it was hard to get the density that I wanted because I always want the set to not feel like a set.
Yeah.
But we built it on a soundstage, so it feels somewhat like a set. Although we worked really hard to use it. We had access to another shop, so some builds happened in other shops than the main one. But my goal was to keep on bringing stuff. So in addition to that first truckload that went, I kept on bringing stuff up every time I went. I'd be like, let me bring this helmet. I got 4 of those. Let me bring up that helmet.
That's like moving in for summer camp, like going back home and then bringing more stuff. And then when you got to leave summer camp and you empty your dorm, you have a lot more to bring back.
Like the end of my freshman year in college, I remember loading what seemed like 1 carload worth of stuff in, but I had to take the top off of the car, put the stuff in, and then put the top back down in order to get the refrigerator. Yeah, like you
totally.
accumulate. Yeah,
Totally.
it's good.
And for fans of Tested, I did recognize a few things here and there that were born out of things that you had done on Tested. So
Yes.
that will be fun for
Nice little
Eli-
Easter eggs for fans of Tested.
Yeah.
Speaking of fans of Tested, I am late, but I finally gave you some things to scan
yes,
this week.
Yes, yeah, I'm very excited. Yes, or if you're one of our members, you will be very excited about what's coming in the near
I have
future.
no idea what you're talking about.
I will tell you after the
Okay, very
podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what a teaser! You had to do
They
it months
hate
ago.
that when I do that. I know.
Look, people are going to be able to freeze frame, and they'll get just like 3 frames there because you swung it out instead of in. So,
This is going out on Thursday morning.
Yep.
yeah.
So it's great that Wednesday was such a slow news day.
Look, the thing I want to say it was Patton Oswalt, but it probably wasn't. Whoever came up with the "remember when you woke up this morning that was 3 years ago" thing,
Right.
Never been more true. Like the last 10 days have been bananas for news.
My personal favorite. Hold on, I gotta find this.
Treason?
That. But did you see Paul F. Tompkins' response?
No.
Paul F. Tompkins had my favorite response, and now you're going to just have to suffer while
Just
I
keep
go
looking
and
it up.
find. How do I even search for something?
I just
Here
replied
we go.
and asked if maybe a witch hunt was in order.
Oh, I saw that. Paul. There we go. So his response to Trump tweeting treason is, "No, but thanks for offering."
Look, Chris DeBona at Google had a really good response, which was, "Yeah, I think it's great. You should totally press charges on someone. We'll have full evidence disclosure, and we'll get into the whole thing." I think that's a great idea.
Discovery.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Discovery
Okay.
would be great. Anyway,
But I don't want to talk about it because it's too freaking depressing. I'd like to talk about a movie I watched recently because I thought, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I wonder if it holds up. I watched Out of Sight.
Ooh.
Early Steven Soderbergh, George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Don Cheadle, Steve Zahn.
Was that the first movie he made after Sex, Lies, and Videotape, or was it like 4?
The first movie he made after Sex, Lies, and Videotape was Schizopolis, a Franz Kafka film. Then after that, he made King of the Hill, a coming-of-age story, which nobody saw.
Well, I've never seen.
No.
I've never
Very
seen either
sweet
of those.
movie.
Yeah.
Schizopolis is a madhouse with Jeremy Irons, if I remember correctly.
Jeremy Irons in a Kafka movie sounds great.
And it's effectively almost a. If I ever meet Soderbergh, I really want to talk about it because I think it's deeply inspired by Terry Gilliam. And understand that after he made Sex Lies, he was offered every movie.
Yeah.
And he made 2 really tiny movies. And I don't know what he made after King of the Hill. It might actually be Out of Sight.
If only there was some
If
way
only
we
there
could
was
find
some,
out.
and so Out of Sight is 98.
Okay.
Good year for movies.
Sex Lies Videotape is like 990.
I watched
right?
Sex, Lies, and
91?
Videotape. Like, I don't know that I've ever actually seen Sex, Lies, and Videotape with dialogue. because I watched it on the satellite dish, and I think we like on the big satellite dish you could get the picture at the time, but not the sound.
Sometimes
You
that's
had
all
to
you
pay
need.
for the
Really?
sound.
When I had
And I was like,
HBO, you could get the Playboy Channel sound, but not the video.
Sometimes that's all you need too.
You had to go out in the backyard and crank the satellite to a different place to get the Playboy channel. It wasn't
It's the measure of a good picture,
really
right?
worth the
Did
effort.
you ever see Brainstorm
No.
with Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood? Terrific
No.
movie. Louise Fletcher, Cliff Robertson. Terrific movie, actually directed by Doug Trumbull. One of two movies he directed.
After this, he did the special effects.
After he did, and he can continue to do visual effects. But at one point in Brainstorm, it's about Natalie Wood. She's a designer, industrial designer, married to a scientist played by a very young Chris Walken. And she's having flashbacks to the life of their marriage at one point in the film. And there's this one point at which he's in their backyard, and there's this giant satellite dish back there. And it's literally like 20 feet in diameter.
God.
And he goes, "You can put flowers all around it. I don't know what you're so upset about." That is the worst Christopher Walken impression. I know I made him sound like Bernie Sanders.
That was exceptionally bad.
What I was going for was his inflection more than the imitation, because the inflection is what I hear every time someone mentions a big satellite dish.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm not.
So back to Out of Sight.
So it's Kafka, King of the Hill, underneath Fallen Angels, which was a TV series he did 2 episodes of, Schizopolis, which was
Kafka
credited
is
on.
different than Schizopolis.
Kafka and Schizopolis are different. And then
Wow.
he did Grey's Anatomy, a movie,
Sounds like a movie. All right.
and Out of Sight was the next one after that.
Huh. And then
Out of
And
Sight
then
is.
The Limey, Brockovich, Traffic, Ocean's
So
11,
here's the
Full
thing.
Frontal, Solaris,
Have you guys
K
seen The
Street.
Limey?
I've
No.
not.
I got gaps.
I don't want to spoil The Limey, but Out of Sight has, and I just tweeted about this, my favorite love scene in any movie. And to remind you, she has gone up to Detroit to find Jack Foley, the bank robber, and
Played
she
by
is
Clooney.
played
Yeah.
by Clooney, and J Lo is in a hotel, and Clooney shows up. He finds her.
She's like an FBI agent.
She's
or
an
something,
FBI.
Right?
She's
Yeah.
she's a U.S. Marshal.
That's right.
And she's in a hotel in Detroit when Clooney sits down at her table. And this is the first time since they were locked together in the trunk of a car that they've met, and they've both been kind of obsessed with each other. Bear with me. If you haven't seen this movie, the premise is totally messed up, and the execution is incredible.
It is. It's a movie that I saw, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm watching every movie that this guy ever makes again.
Right. So,
And then from there,
then I didn't
it was
do that
nothing
at
but
all,
good stuff.
but, you
but
know.
as they're sitting having a drink, they're also having a seduction. And it's a very mutual seduction. And it's beautifully done because you keep, while they're talking over a table, you're flashing forward to them in a hotel room, slowly moving towards each other. And it's this unsynced time shifting that makes it such a powerful
That's the
powerful
power
thing,
of
'cause
cinema.
You realize the seduction begins the moment they start speaking to each other.
Is it the
And it's the fulfillment happens, and it's already in their head. It's inevitable.
They're
Right.
blinds too, right?
What's
Isn't
that?
it like lit really like sharp lighting with like
You mean
either
like
vertical
that
blinds or like Venetian blinds or something like that? I can't remember.
That I don't quite remember. But so that time shifting is also a central storytelling aspect of the Limey. So clearly Soderbergh, and again, if I ever meet him, I'm going to ask all about this.
Yeah.
Clearly, that love scene from Out of Sight inspired him to see if he could structure a movie in a non-standard way, and The Limey is a total masterpiece in this regard. I
if you
love
think
The
of
Limey.
every heist film he's done since, the flash forward of is that's an
Oh,
essential
interesting.
part of every heist film.
Interesting.
As you lay out the plot of the plan.
So speaking of the flash forward, his famous flashback at the end of Ocean's 11 was something that I was thinking about because last week I was in a hotel and I decided to watch Ocean's 8.
Well, it's a really
what do
long
you
time
say-
since I watched Ocean's 11. What's the
what's
flashback?
your flashback?
Oh,
that
at
you're
the
talking
very
about?
end.
Oh,
At the
because
very end.
they cleaned out the sorry,
Right.
spoilers for a 20-year-old movie. They cleaned out the casino
Yeah.
days before the actual...
No,
Not
you're-
days before they
you're
were
talking about the
cleaning out.
footage,
They
the
were
reveal.
running different. They were cleaning out a different vault than they thought they were cleaning out. They weren't where they thought they were because they ran tape.
they made a fake vault.
Yeah,
made a
they
fake
made a
vault.
fake
Yeah.
vault.
Got it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you get to see all the ways. So there's a whole hidden subplot.
Yeah.
of the heist in Ocean's 11 that you don't get to see until after the real heist.
Right.
Ocean's 8 follows the exact same.
Yes, it's wonderful. The heist you didn't see.
Yeah. Well, so to be honest, I want to talk about Ocean's 8 for a second.
Okay.
He did that in Logan Lucky too, which I think we talked about last year,
and
year
Logan
before it came
Lucky is
out.
wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
It's a spectacular movie.
Absolutely great. Catherine Waterston. I love
Yes.
her. I love her.
Yes.
And I think I said this last time. She fulfills my Jennifer Ely, super smart, really awesome, down to earth heroine.
Yeah.
Just like, you want her riding shotgun, or you
Yes.
want to ride shotgun while she drives.
Yes.
Whichever, doesn't matter.
Either way.
So, Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8.
Super enjoyable.
Yes.
It's the 8th movie in the Ocean's franchise. It was released.
There's a bunch of gaps.
Yeah, turns out they're working. There's gonna be some prequels.
It's like Star Wars.
Like I saw it and I watched the first maybe 15 minutes and I had to pause it and look and I was like, is this directed by Steven Soderbergh?
Well, this is the thing. You said it's not a Soderbergh film, and I submit, actually it is, because they effectively copied Ocean's 11 almost shot for shot.
like,
sequence for
Was it
sequence.
one of those cases where like he didn't direct it, but he did the cinematography, like for the Magic Mike sequel?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
Soderbergh was an executive producer
He's
of
an EP,
Ocean's
yeah.
8.
Okay.
So that's a good question.
But like that opening shot with Sandra Bullock, like the chair and the table are in frame, then she just slides into it, and you're just like, wow, that is a Soderbergh shot right there.
I really, really liked it. It is light.
It was exactly like heavy heist movies are too stressful.
No, it's true, but there's a balance for me. And Ocean's 11 strikes it perfectly, whereas Ocean's 12 and 13, I find both of those, I don't like either of those movies nearly as much.
No, it feels
What's
like
at stake?
That's what it gets me.
What's at stake in Ocean's
is like
11?
Oh, really?
It's not the
so
money.
now Terry knows that in Ocean's 12 the plot is now Terry knows, and it's like, really? After all that, he just knows, and now he's going to ask
Terry
you for the
knows
money.
and he's going to kill them.
Yeah,
I mean,
but,
the lives at stake.
Well,
Ocean's
I
always
think,
knew that. That was what L.A.
fair.
Gould said in the first one.
and I think what happens.
So it erased the stakes of 11.
Yeah.
That's what I had a problem with 12.
Right, and the best ones are the ones where the monetary stakes are what is the parent stakes, the parent gravitas stakes, are in contrast to the real stakes, their emotional stakes. It's
And-
him and Julia Roberts in the first one.
Yeah.
In the second one, it's supposed to be about Catherine Zeta-Jones and her father.
Right,
And
yeah,
you never
that's-
feel that. That falls
totally.
flat.
I was
And then
bored by all that.
And then the third one, it's supposed to be for them and their friend.
Which
And-
one has the unforgivable meta thing where Julia Roberts plays
Second
somebody who
one.
looks like Julia Roberts?
That's
Second
the
one.
I'm
Ocean's
done.
12.
At that point, I was just like, this is terrible. It's
However,
unwatchable. Sorry.
Anne Hathaway is delightful in Ocean's 8, playing Anne Hathaway, playing the.
Essentially.
Well, playing like an awful caricature of Anne Hathaway,
Yes,
presumably.
look, I love the fact that she. Look, I'm a big Anne Hathaway apologist. I find her. I find her. I'm sorry, Anne, if you listen to our podcast. I do find
for
her.
multiple reasons.
I do find her somewhat actorly and annoying in the ways that some people find her annoying. But I think that as an actress, she's phenomenal. I think that you give her a role and she's going to kill it.
I never have not liked
Yeah,
an Anne Hathaway
absolutely.
movie.
So, like, I think she's an artist at the
Princess
top of her
Diaries on.
form.
I haven't watched. I've got a few years before Princess Diaries comes up in the rotation with the kid, Norm.
But Ocean's 8, I really like. I super enjoyed it. I think it's better than 12 or 13.
Oh, no doubt. The cast is great. I mean, Kate Blanchett, Sandra Bullock, Sarah Polley,
Sarah Polley.
Mindy
Rihanna?
Kaling,
Mindy
Rihanna,
Kaling.
Aquafina.
and oh god, I can't remember what's her name from all the Tim Burton movies.
Helena Bonham
Oh,
Carter.
Helena Bonham
Carter.
Carter. Yes. Yeah, really, really enjoyable. Aquafina's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great in Crazy
Rihanna
Rich
just
Asians
chews
also.
the scenery, but like hell's bells. I would
Like-
hire Rihanna to chew the scenery anywhere. She's super
One
compelling.
of the best things I love about those films is a lot of like the tech conceits, and like they have more money than they stole to do these heists. And so much of it's like the woman who made the dress is in on the heist, like these
But
public
also-
figures. But it's about outsmarting. It's outsmarting the viewer and letting the viewer feel like they're catching up to the story, and then saying, "We let you do that. That was
Yeah.
on purpose."
Yeah, and I would love to retire I put a film of the camera in front of the camera so that you were looking at the wrong feed. I'm
Right.
so tired of that one.
That's such.
I remember that from the $6 Million Man. He did that in one of the episodes.
You have like a projector and just
No,
little
just
reverse
a little like a
projected screen.
Polaroid and a snap
What
frame.
about
boy.
alligator clips on the on the cables, and now I've tapped into your security feeds. Right?
Look, man, you break that encryption right away.
Ocean's 11 is so good.
Hey everybody, Norm here. Before we continue on with this week's episode, I want to thank the sponsor that makes this episode possible, and that is KiwiCo. KiwiCo creates super cool hands-on projects for kids that make learning about STEAM fun. Their mission is to provide the next generation of innovators with the tools and foundation to become creative problem solvers and critical thinkers. Their projects are designed to spark creativity, tinkering, and learning in kids of all ages. All projects, inspiration, activities are created by an in-house team of product designers and rigorously tested by kids. KiwiCo has 6 types of projects for kids of all ages, from the Cricut Crate for toddlers to the Doodle Crate for teens, and it's super convenient. Every crate includes all the supplies needed for that month's project, easy to follow instructions, and an educational magazine to learn even more about that crate's theme. KiwiCo inspires kids to see themselves as makers, engineering, and creating their own innovative designs and outcomes. They sent us one of their crates, and I've been handing it over to some of the kids that we've been babysitting, and they've been loving these kits. It's a perfect way to help them get through the summer before school starts. KiwiCo is offering Still Untitled listeners the chance to try these kits for free. To redeem this offer and learn more about these projects for kids, visit kiwico.com/untitled. Once again, that's kiwico.com/untitled. Now back to the conversation. You know, I watched recently in terms of old movies, I rewatched all of Heat.
That movie is...
So I was going to bring that up in terms of heist films with stakes.
Because it's at the other end of the heist. Like goofy fun, crazy intense.
Heat has one of my favorite moments in any movie, which is when Val Kilmer comes out of the bank and he thinks he sees a cop. He picks up his M16 and just starts spraying the street with bullets. There is not a pause. There is nothing. And I was like, whoa! I had not seen that before.
Well, then that whole scene, that begins it, right?
Yeah,
because they're so confident. They're smiling. Ray Winstone's in the car. They're ready to drive off. And, I mean, it's completely unrealistic. And then Pacino, the detective, has an equivalent automatic weapon running down the street. Like, it's one of the craziest firefights in a film ever.
Well, that, and then the scene at the airport with Pacino and Robert De Niro, when De Niro makes good on the you have to be able to walk away at any moment, monologue from earlier with the girl.
The hotel. Yeah, the hotel. Yeah.
And it's like that is just like at that point, De Niro and Pacino were at the peaks of their
so amazing,
of their trajectories.
Michael Mann,
unbelievable.
Michael Mann is someone who you can crawl through their filmography and you will never be disappointed.
Have you seen Miami Vice, Adam?
No. Is it really that bad?
It's okay.
So I retract that as a full stop statement.
I counter with Collateral.
It's not never not disappointed. Hold on, but it's fine.
Mann, so one of the things I'll say about Mann is he reminds me a little of Alan Parker sometimes. Alan Parker did Angel Heart. So he also did Mississippi Burning. He did Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone or Bugsy?
Dolls movie with children starring Scott Baio.
Okay. Wow.
Which is it's like wacky packages of movies. It's a complete bizarro universe.
Kind of like a Danny
movie.
Boyle. Like he does a little something different every time.
Not really, because Parker and Mann are both incredible craftspeople. Like just in terms of setting a frame, setting a scene, setting a mise en scène, they're the best. But sometimes they're so good at it, I find personally the films leave me a little cold. Like there's a little warmth missing.
And I think Heat avoids that because he had 2 characters that were inspired by real characters.
That's a good point.
That had that history with it.
Yeah.
The scene in Heat where they get coffee.
Yeah.
Pacino pulls De Niro over and says, "Can I buy your coffee?" That is based on a real conversation.
Is it really?
That the cop that Pacino's based on had and got.
No way.
Had coffee with the person he was hunting.
That's cool.
And it was supposed to be, and embellished a little bit, but they had that conversation about, I'm going to chase you forever. I'm never going to stop doing what I'm doing.
Okay, so you just watched this movie recently.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just, I'm going to peer into Norm's brain here for a second.
Yeah.
All right.
How do you know this new fact that's based on the cup? Did you then go research the movie?
That's up until 2 a.m.
How long have you known Norm, Adam?
I just
That's
wanted
every
to
every
unpack that a
movie.
little bit.
So
It's every movie. I must know everything about it.
That's really awesome. I totally agree with that.
The thing about Heat, watching it in the theater when it came out, I was just enwrapped, and like the 3 hours of that movie disappeared. Mm-hmm. Every time I've watched it at home, I have to break it up into 2 chunks.
Well, that's why when it was originally released, it was
movies take a long time.
It was 2 VHS tapes. I have the 2 VHS. It's the only VHS tape I kept. Wow. 2 VHS tapes. That is a long ass movie.
On another front, I just finished season 1 of The Americans. Which neither of you watched it.
I've watched
I watched
2
most
seasons.
of season 1.
We can't quite binge it. We find in my house
It's brutal
because it's too.
It's too much.
It's too exhausting.
Yeah.
I gotta like I watch an episode and a half and I'm like, I gotta go to sleep.
So I don't remember if this is in season 1 or 2, but is there the suitcase scene?
No, that hasn't happened yet. You guys scared the hell out of me with the suitcase scene.
Okay, all right.
I watched almost all of the first season of Disenchanted, the Matt Groening
how is
animated
that?
thing. The first 3 to 4 episodes, not great. After that, it gets really good. Like it's not.
I appreciate you sticking with it because I usually give up after 2 episodes.
Well, they're
that I
like
don't
20 minutes long, so it's a little bit easier. Because it's it's animated.
Even still,
length.
I'm merciless.
Yeah, I would just go straight to the setup's really interesting. The characters are good. The first few episodes, they clearly had no idea what kind of show they're making, and then they had to get through world building or whatever, and then it picks up really nicely.
All right.
But I would just skip straight to the 4th episode probably and start watching if you're interested in a new Matt Groening Futurama style show about fantasy. Right. It's clearly very Game of Thrones / maybe a little bit Lord of the Rings, but mostly Game of Thrones inspired.
I'm going to go to a different type of media now.
Okay.
You guys might not know this. I don't think I've mentioned on the podcast. I've read all the Jack Reacher novels.
You handed us each one as homework last time, and I haven't started reading it.
Oh no, they're really enjoyable. Right, they're worth reading. And there's like 22 of them. My production manager on Junior, Elizabeth Daly, also a fan of Jack Reacher, the first IRL person that I have met that I know that also reads them all, and introduced me to the Michael Collins Harry Bosch novels.
Of which Amazon has a TV show based on.
Yes.
Starring that great actor who played the bad guy from Lost.
Men in Black.
I love that guy, and I have not watched the show yet, but I've finished my 3rd Harry Bosch novel. What's that?
Titus Welliver.
It's a deep cut, Norm.
That is, I'm really impressed.
This is why I go on the wikis after watching everything.
Hold on, I thought you're not talking about the guy who played the alien host in the first one.
In the first
Men in Black.
No, that's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Okay.
No, he's
Titus Welliver.
Yeah.
What a name!
That's a pretty amazing name.
That is a
I may be
shocking
pronouncing
name.
it, but all the letters are there.
I want him to do a movie with Hannibal Buress.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Yeah, and Burgess Meredith if he was undead. How are the Bosch books?
They're very enjoyable. It's an LA police homicide detective. Lots of procedural stuff. Well written, clearly. Look, he's totally inspired by Chandler. He mentions him in all 3 books I've read thus far. And I'm getting the reference. Like, it's not just referencing Chandler, but also referencing specific books and specific frameworks.
So this is how I imagine a lot of these shows get made, right? Like, people are obsessed about characters that they've built in their heads from book series.
Right.
Whether it's Jack Ryan, which is now a showrunner Bosch, or... and the showrunners, the creators are very passionate, but a lot of that can get either lost in translation on the screen, or it's just not the right medium.
Well, and you can't ever... Like casting one of those characters that someone spent hundreds of hours living inside of is always going to disappoint. And as reference, I'll point out, nobody thinks Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher is correct casting, even though the first Jack Reacher movie is fantastic. It's a better movie than it is a Jack Reacher
Chris
movie.
McQuarrie talks about how the fan service he did in that movie goes completely unappreciated. Like, there's a scene where Tom Cruise is changed out of his clothes, and every scar is from an old Jack Reacher book.
And by the way, I just read the Reacher book that the first Jack Reacher movie is from, and it is an incredibly faithful adaptation of that book, including dialogue and story beats. They compress a few characters for brevity's sake. That all makes it's actually a wonderful class in how to take a book and turn it into a movie, and the kind of efficiencies that you need to achieve.
And all people focus on is Tom Cruise isn't 6'5" or something.
Look, that fight scene in Jack Reacher is one of the best filmed fight scenes ever. And if you can't call it to memory, I'll show it to you right after this podcast because it's really good.
So I watched that Jack Ryan thing on Amazon the other day.
John Krasinski film.
Yeah, the Jim from The Office as
Yes.
Jack Ryan, which I think is the best casting they've ever done on Jack Ryan.
No.
Maybe Chris Pine?
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford was like 90 years old when he was supposed to be playing
I'm
somebody who was
sorry.
like 18.
I think it's
Alec
Alec Baldwin.
Alec
and
Baldwin.
Hunter, that was like Alec Baldwin. Again,
None
too
of us
old.
said Ben Affleck. None of us said Ben Affleck.
Wait, Ben Affleck played Jack Ryan?
Twice.
Some of all fears. Once.
I prefer
Well,
his.
who did Real
I
Pleasant Danger? Was that
prefer him as
Harrison
an
Ford?
accountant.
Man, that accountant movie's okay.
It is so terrible.
Yeah, it's really grim.
The
puzzle,
worst
the
movie
upside
ever.
down puzzle.
That's really I know more about why Freddy Got Fingered got made than The Accountant.
Have you ever seen Paycheck?
That's a sentence.
Have you ever seen Paycheck, Adam?
No.
John Woo, Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
based on a.
He is the reverse engineer. His job is to buy consumer electronics devices, figure out how they work by taking them apart in a hotel room for an indeterminate period of time, and then people try to kill him. And John Woo directed it during his American period after
my
Mission
God.
Impossible 2, right?
And it's based on a short story or a book by Blade Runner and
Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick. Yes.
I
Is
remember
really, really bad.
I remember reading about John Woo's account of making his first American movie, Hard Target,
that one's okay.
with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Wilford Brimley. But what he didn't know was
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, I know. Diabetes. Was he didn't realize when he signed on to make the movie that Jean-Claude Van Damme having final cut would mean that he would come into the edit room and say, "You need to change this shot because you can't see my butt. I need you to feature my butt in this scene where I'm kicking this guy."
Cinema.
I thought Jim from The Office was very good as Jack Ryan.
Is it
who
good?
is the ultimate? No, it's not good. But Jim was pretty good. He's the problem with Jack Ryan is that he's the ultimate Mary Sue. He's good at everything. He's an ex-Marine who was discharged because of a plane helicopter crash.
Right.
Who then went and got a PhD in economics
He's
and
infallible.
made millions of dollars on Wall Street and then quit to join the CIA as an analyst.
Well, that's why these are fantasy books.
I
Jack
think
Reacher is
that,
infallible.
I love Chris Pine's Jack Ryan and Shadow Recruit.
I actually haven't watched that
Oh,
one.
it's really enjoyable.
Kenneth Branagh.
I like Chris Pine a lot. Chris Pine's
Here's
great.
why I like it. Keira Knightley, who I just think is
Always is good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley is the heroine. Kenneth Branagh getting a full meal of the scenery.
He directed
is this
and
post-Thor?
Starred as a Russian.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Ken Branagh directed Jack
believe,
Ryan.
yes.
So it's great, and he is a fantastic villain. Ken
Yeah.
Branagh is a wonderful villain, and
It's also a zero stakes story.
sure,
That's nice
But
occasionally.
what I like about it is the relationship between the couple. She finds out that he's been doing secret stuff, that he's been a secret agent, and the way that they deal with that as a couple, I found more realistic than most
So
movies.
Keira Knightley's his wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they totally whiffed that in the Harrison Ford movies.
No, they're great.
The wife relationship?
Yes, Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
You need to rewatch
God, I don't
that.
remember this at all. Who plays his wife?
Willem
in-
Dafoe is oh god, she's
It's been so long since I've seen the Harrison Ford ones.
her name's Kate something, I think. I can't remember.
I don't got this
Maybe
one.
maybe her last name's Archer.
Anne Archer.
Anne Archer.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's a good pull.
You're totally right. Anne Archer is also the wife in Presumed Innocent, if I'm not incorrect.
You know, we need to do this more
no,
often.
I've got that wrong. It's not Anne Archer.
No. Presumed
We need to
Innocent,
be
the Scott
the
Turow novel.
podcast equivalent of the Wikipedia / IMDb. Click a link. Click a link. Click a link. 'Cause that's what we did.
Guys,
we started with
Ocean's 8.
started with Ocean's 11,
so
and then linked our way down.
I was in LA a couple weekends ago doing a fundraiser with Tracy Desjardins and Mary Sue Milliken at Mary Sue's house. Speaking of Mary Sue, and we were the person who had purchased the fundraiser.
Mary Sue Milliken is not a Mary Sue, by the
No,
way. Just
she's
for the
totally
record.
not a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Although she is pretty good at everything.
She's wonderful.
The person who had purchased the fundraiser, we were talking about Jack Reacher because I was finishing a Jack Reacher novel, and they said, "Oh, there's a Jack Reacher television series coming up," and I was like, "Oh my god, that sounds amazing!" And we went down this long garden path before I looked it up on my phone and realized it was Jack Ryan, not Jack Reacher.
Have I told you that I found the ultimate page on the internet? Like the all-time greatest page on the internet ever?
What?
It's Wikipedia's list of lists page. So, and I'm not even joking. It's got thousands of entries.
Yeah.
For example, in literature, there's a list of books, and then there's a list of 100 best books. There's a list of 100 banned books. There's a list of actors. There's a list of actors by television
So this
series.
is a list of lists.
It's a list of lists of lists. So it's all of the lists of lists listed on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. So it's just tertiary.
It's a tertiary
not quaternary.
lists of book-based war films. So when you go in there, it's like lists of films based on military books. Oh my god! List of films based on the Chinese Civil War.
Oh my goodness!
List of Desert Island Discs episodes.
Yes.
And it's very good. It's a lists of lists.
Did you see that wonderful film, speaking of lists, that wonderful short film that made the rounds last week of the film curator from the Museum of Modern Art in New York comparing Kung Fu films to wuxia films?
Oh, I've not seen that.
Oh, it's really neat. She goes into deep background on the two films' styles and how different they are, why they're different, how they've been modified and played with over the years, and Crouching Tiger, which I also recently watched again.
I need to go back and rewatch that.
You know what? Crouching Tiger, still a perfect movie.
Oh, I don't doubt that
Still
at
an
all.
absolutely perfect movie. And Michelle Yeoh is the original badass of badasses. She is just so great. And do you know that she doesn't... I can't remember whether it's... I can't remember... She speaks one type of Chinese, but not the other, and so had to do her lines phonetically.
Oh,
What?
For
I believe she does
Crouching
Cantonese,
Tiger.
not Mandarin.
Yes,
And
that's
it seems
it.
like a Mandarin movie, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, totally amazing.
So I haven't read the Jack Reacher book yet because I've been tearing through novels over the last couple of weeks.
Which novels?
So I read John Scalzi's book, The Collapsing Empire, which came out last year.
Yeah, how is it?
It's fabulous. It is a
Awesome.
parable for it's in the same way that Seven Eves and Aurora, the Kim Stanley Robinson book. I think we talked about both of
I've
those a
never
couple
seen
years ago.
Aurora. I haven't read Aurora.
Okay, so Aurora is notable because it's basically Kim Stanley Robinson is a noted environmentalist, writes a lot of science fiction based on, hey, we need to take care of our stuff because we only get one chance at this.
By the way.
And Aurora basically looks at the idea of generation ships and how there's no even our envisioning of future technology isn't going to let us stay in a sealed ecosystem for 300 years to get to even the nearest star
What happens
systems.
if you're in the middle?
It's real bad. Things go bad. It's not great.
So Scalzi's Collapsing Empires is similar.
Scalzi's book is a farther future,
Nice.
hard science fiction look at that kind of stuff.
I love John.
And it's got like empire building. It's very like, it's good. It's very good. It's very entertaining. Something completely different than anything he's done before. And then I follow that up with Mary Robinette Kowal's books, The Calculating Stars and The Faded Sky.
Oh, I don't know about these.
I met Mary at Ord Camp earlier this year, and she's like in the Pat Rothfuss kind of like she's in that kind of Chicago, Wisconsin authors circle, and at the risk of doing the reductive awful thing, The Faded Skies and Calculating Stars. Start with Calculating Stars. It's kind of post-apocalypse historical fiction. So imagine Seven Eves and Hidden Figures. And like 50s Earth, something goes really bad, and people realize that, hey, we've got to really accelerate the space program.
Oh, okay.
With 50s era technology, and I think it's very much your jam.
Yeah, no, it sounds like my jam.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm almost done. Like I've been staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning reading books, which is
fabulous.
unusual for me now that I have to get up at a decent hour. For
I've been having a love affair with just reading regularly because it is such a nice way to finish the night. Yeah. And I sleep much better.
Turns out.
Without those screens barking terrifying shit into my face all day
I
long.
still use the screen, but it's,
I do the same, except it's Wikipedia.
And
I sleep real well, knowing I know a little bit more about...
Oh my God. When you actually have AR Wikipedia at your disposal, Norm, you're going to be like an amazing parody of yourself.
It's not good. It's too much for you, Norm. You need to give you a kill switch. Just turn that thing off. I think that's as good a place as any to wrap it up.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
I got a recommendation. Searching, I watched in theaters. It's the John Cho's new movie.
Oh.
It's people are calling it. You know how Cloverfield brought in this wave of found footage movies? Mm-hmm. This is a movie entirely done a screen capture on a computer.
Oh.
Or multiple computers. Like a Windows computer.
What's the setup?
He's a missing daughter, so he's looking for his daughter. And it's emotional. You'll cry at it, but the format is all done through webcam, FaceTime calls, and its understanding of technology and how people, adults and kids, use technology today is really well done.
Did he direct it? Or is
No. He stars in it.
Sorry.
Yeah, he starred in it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for people to yell at the radios in their car
A
for.
series of unfortunate tangents.
Yeah. Yeah. See you guys next week.
That's the title of the podcast this week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for listening this week. And once again, I want to thank the sponsor that made this episode possible, and that's KiwiCo. KiwiCo creates super cool hands-on projects for kids that make learning about science, technology, engineering, art, and math fun. Kids can create their own arcade games, construct a hydraulic claw, or tinker with electronics and motors. KiwiCo is offering Still Untitled listeners the chance to try these kits for free. To redeem this offer and learn more about their projects for kids, visit kiwico.com/untitled. We'll see you next week.